Happy Monday, Inspire Beauty. I'm so excited that you guys gave me the gift of 30 extra minutes. I needed that. We just finished everything that we needed to do in the design room for our house. So that's exciting and stressful. But thank you guys, because traffic getting back was a little bit more than I had anticipated. So I'm going to share the screen. Let me try this today. I think I can do presentation mode right from here and not have to download it. Give me a thumbs up that you can see this. Can you see it? Perfect. It worked. Let me escape though. How do we? Oh, here. Okay. Learning new things every day. I'm going to get into it with some announcements, you guys. First of all, 9 lives changed and counting this month. Amanda's already knocked it out of the park at Success Club 6. Ashley, Kristen, I got to update your SC numbers. You're at 4. Ashley also cruising at 4. Myself and Mary at 2. And we're just here at the top of the month, you guys. There's so much more time left. If you had the gift of promo codes, whether you are a brand new coach, because remember, brand new coaches always get 3 promo codes right off the bat in their inbox. So every time you guys sign a new coach, make sure you're reminding them of that. And share a best practice that you've learned since getting promo codes, in our wheelhouse. Share a best practice with your brand new coaches. Hey, just so you know, Beachbody gives every brand new coach 3 promo codes in their inbox to use in their very first month in the business. I want to make sure you know that, so that in case anybody asks you what it is you're doing, you can offer them $10 off, right? And so make sure we're teaching our new coaches about that as well, because that is definitely a gift that they are given. I'm sharing today, you guys, current ranks, and I wanted to share this because I find it interesting. Now, I am a lifetime 2-star diamond coach, and we have other people on our team who are lifetime diamonds, which is incredible. But there is an ebb and a flow to this business, and we claw to get to things. Like some of you may remember when you went Emerald that you clawed your way there. It was like, okay, I'm going to ask my spouse or my BFF or my mom or whatever, and I'm going to get this like Rockstar Challenger, and I'm going to claw my way to Emerald, and you did it. And maybe you had one on your left and one on your right, and since then have dropped rank. I just want you to know that that's normal. If you look right now, again, I am a lifetime 2-star diamond coach. Right now in my back office, if you look, I am a diamond coach in my first business center. I'm a Emerald coach in my second business center. There's a fluctuation. And number one, it's normal, but it's also important that you don't stay dropped, right? Okay, so I see that I am diamond right now. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be diamond for the rest of my life. That also doesn't mean you're going to see me drop to ruby, drop to emerald, drop down to coach. There is an ebb and a flow, but guys, this is like a roller coaster, right? This whole business, there's ups and there's downs. There's times where you're going to like knock it out of the park and you're going to be a diamond, star diamond, like you're going to be all the things, right? But it's also going to dip down. There are times and seasons in your business where you might lose your star, or you might drop back to emerald if you were a diamond coach. And although that's normal, here's the kicker. This is like a roller coaster, in that the only way you're going to die is if you get off the ride mid-ride, right? Like who here would get off of a roller coaster in the middle of the ride? Like just undo your harness and okay, I'm good, I'm out. No, like you go up, you're at the top of that mountain, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we made it to the top of this mountain. And then you like fly down and okay, I'm at the low. Are you going to flip off that harness? No, right? That's like a death sentence right there. And this business is so similar, you guys. The only way to inevitably kill yourself, like to die in this business, is to get off the roller coaster before it's finished. Right? And we're going to talk about a lot of analogies today with farming and things like that. And I just want to inspire you tonight about your business and about the longevity and the grit and the perseverance and just the cultivation of who you become along the ride. But just know that this is what it looks like today. But that doesn't mean that next week, because I want to do this as a weekly update. So next week, that doesn't mean that anyone who's sitting at Emerald can't get their name up into ruby, or maybe they were a diamond and have since dropped. That doesn't mean you can't get your name back up into diamond, right? That doesn't mean that my first business center is going to stay at diamond. I can get my 2-star back and then some, right? And so keeping that in mind, I want to take every week from now on and shout this out so we know where we stand with our current ranks, right? Because I think that's important. The more you understand about your back office and where your business center is currently sitting, the more you can make educated decisions on how to advance it forward, right? Okay. That being said, you guys, November 1st through 3rd is our very first diamond retreat. I'm so excited. We're getting matching pajamas. Yes, ma'am. Whoop, whoop. To qualify, you guys, you have to be a diamond coach. Lock in diamond. So you need to wake up on a Thursday and it says diamond. And then on Monday in the National Wake Up Call, you're going to be a diamond, right? You have to lock that in either September or October. So you have both months. Now, Amanda and I were chatting last week and she's like, no, I want it sooner than later because I want to book my flight sooner than later, right? So pro tip, right? Best practices from Amanda when it comes to booking flights. You probably want to get it sooner than later, but September or October, and you must hit Success Club in either September or October as well. So I need one of those months for you to qualify for SC as well. We're not only just doing a leadership retreat here for diamonds, but we're also going to have so much fun celebrating our progress and our success. We're going to dive into what the vision looks like for not only just ourselves, but our team moving forward, and how do we work to cultivate that vision together, linked arms. But it's also a super weekend. So if the diamond retreat doesn't come to pass for you, if this year you're just not in attendance yet, still keep in mind that November 1st through 3rd is a super weekend. And so you need to look on your map in your back office and figure out where is a super weekend located near you. Make sure you're marking that on your calendar and making that a non-negotiable. Live events, you guys, are game changers, right? I've had coaches recently tell me that they don't think live events matter. Guess what? Those coaches have never been to live events, so they literally have no clue. I've literally gone from not going to Super Saturdays to always going to Super Saturdays. It makes a difference, right? And that's just quarterly. And then let's not even talk about Summit. I mean, I could go off on a tangent with that, but Summit is the ultimate game changer. But super weekends, you get to grow in community with people who are right there in your hometown. So mark your calendar for that because you definitely want to get to a super weekend in your local town. Tonight, we're talking all about farming our business. Now, this idea, I'm trying to figure out where I want to put our faces. Okay, this idea, nope, that's not where I want our faces to be. Let me just click that. Oh, yes. Hide it. Good. This idea, my friends, came to be because I was listening to another coach speak on a training, and she talked about how she loves to give this analogy that our business is like farming. And she kind of elaborated a little bit, but I was like, wow, like it kind of blew my mind. And there's certain aspects of this business that I thought, yeah, like that parallels great with farming, right? But like planting the seeds, right? Like you already probably, if you've been on a call with me before, you've heard me talk about planting seeds, right? But we'll get into that if you haven't heard me talk about that. But there's so much more beyond that. And everything that I'm going to address tonight parallels this business and what it takes in terms of going from start to finish, all the way full circle back to start. So number one, in any good farming practice, the first thing a good farmer is going to do is they're going to seek out good, proper soil, right? There are very specific places in the world that are beneficial for growing the best grapes. For example, I'm sure you've heard of a region in France called Champagne. It's famous for champagne because that region, the soil is proper for growing that particular varietal of grape, right? And same thing here, all of a sudden in California, there was like, a couple decades ago, there's this big boom of like, wait a second, we thought, Cabernet could only be grown in France. And all of a sudden they're doing it over here in California. Why? And it was good wine. The soil was good. It's because it had very similar properties to that of the Mediterranean climates. And so it worked. And so those particular grapes thrived there. It's funny, in Miami, they actually have this winery I used to go to that had things like avocado wines. It was called Avo Vino. It was awesome. Avo Vino. And they had they had like mamey and some other tropical fruits, right? And the reason they worked there is because that climate in Miami was good for growing that produce, right? And so the soil matters. Now, what do I mean by this when we're talking about Beachbody? Finding your niche is important. Number one, your niche meaning who you're speaking to. So when you go out to work your business, if you cast your net over everything, and if you just throw your seeds over wherever you can, ultimately you're going to just be doing a whole lot of work, spinning a whole lot of wheels, and maybe not get that much return back. And maybe if you do get return, it's like not the right person you thought it was going to be, right? It's like these people, it's not your tribe. It's not who you wish to speak to. And so the question I want you to write down, because we've got pen and paper out, don't we, when we're on team calls? I love that you do, is who are you speaking to? Who do you desire to help? And my friends, in your Success Club system business activity tracker, every week, there's a place for you to write down your target market. And every week, yeah, it's similar, like, because it's a weekly practice I do. So every week there are certain themes I continue to write, but it's not identical. For example, last week, I said newlyweds. I said Dallas/Texas, because we had just moved here. And so that was fresh on my mind. I said vegan vegetarians. I think probably because we had just gone to a brand new vegan restaurant. And it was like bomb.com. And so I was following them on social. Coffee lovers, pumpkin spice, because of course, Christians, teachers, and home renovation/home owners. That's what I wrote down last week. You guys, this week, I didn't write that stuff down. I put newlyweds. Okay, that's similar. New moms. That wasn't on last week. People who are in their 30s, teachers, someone who loves to create, loves to serve, and loves to laugh. This week, I went more for a feeling around a person. Last week, I went more around targeting interests, right? And so this is a great practice, because this week, that's what's on the forefront of my mind, is the type of person I want to be around, like how I want to feel when I'm around that person. But that doesn't mean that I can't look for the type of person who has similar interests as me as well, right? And so every week I sit down and I brain dump, who am I trying to speak to? That helps me when I go out to search hashtags or search pages, right? Or groups. That helps me really laser in on who I'm trying to attract and who I desire to help. I don't desire to help everyone. I will help people, like I'll help men, but that's not usually who I desire to help. Right? And so I have to get very laser focused and specific. So finding your niche is good for that. That's the first part about seeking out that good soil. Like I want to find exactly what I want to plant my seeds in, right? The other part about seeking out good soil is committing to being the best thing about your business. My friends, are you the best thing about your business? If I said, write down what is the best thing about your business today, would you be like, me? I am my greatest asset, right? You need to be. You need to be, because ultimately it comes down to you. There's nothing I could ever give you that is going to give you the drive that comes from within to achieve your goals, right? I can give you lots of tools and lots of things, but if you take all those tools and you're not committed to actually growing with them and being and living them out, what's the use, right? So it becomes about this phase one idea and remaining in phase one. And what phase one means, if you are newer here, even if you've been on a lot of these calls, is basically, I always want to remain as if I am brand new. There is a reason that I'm showing you that I fill out this tracker every day. It's not because I don't know that I should work out and drink my shake. And it's not because I don't know that I should post on social media or that I should, invite X amount of people each day or whatever. It's not that. It's that I want to be committed to staying in phase one. And I want to go back and look each week and say, you know what, Brittany? You didn't do a great job at that. You can do better. Right? And so this is a tracking device for me to then go back and say, this is where you can improve, Brittany, right? Also, seeking out good soil happens between our ears, your mindset muscles. There has never been a coach who has achieved great things who does not have a mindset to match it. There's also, on the flip end, never been a coach. I've only witnessed coaches give up when their mindset has given up. Yeah? And so they go hand in hand. So mastering your mindset. We've got so many people reading the 5 a.m. club with us this month. And if you haven't joined book club with us, please do. It's so great. And the 5 a.m. club is like, it's speaking to my heart and speaking to my soul. It's just, there's so many good nuggets. I keep highlighting. But it's so important that I'm continuing to pour into my mindset in the areas where I feel like I'm struggling. So sometimes that means I'm struggling in leadership. So I look for books or podcasts that help me with that. Or maybe sometimes I'm struggling with my self-image or self-esteem or self-love. And so I've got to cater towards that aspect. And sometimes my mindset just needs to be I just need to develop the grit and the like good decision making and the choices, and like get my mind wrapped around how crucial my positive choices leading to my goals are, right? And the 5 a.m. Club is giving that to me right now. So seeking out good soil is also part of that process of mastering and stretching and growing our mindset muscles. So we've got our good soil. We know where we're setting up shop here. I'm the best thing about my business, and I'm working on my mindset, right? Like, this is all good stuff. Okay, now you guys, before we do anything, before we even go out and send that invite or say, hey, like, do you want to join this group with me? Or, oh my gosh, I've got this team, you should be a part of it. There is a little bit of prep work. Now, this should not be a stopping ground. So tilling the soil is an activity that farmers, now I'm not a farmer and I know very, very little about farming. So please, like, just bear with my minute knowledge of the craft. But I believe tilling the soil is like aerating it, moving it around, getting it ready so that you have this good soil, but the soil is best suitable and prep for planting, right? And so this is our prep work. This is our foundation. And some of the prep work for me is systems for tracking. We've talked about systems on these calls before for tracking, but if you're brand spanking new or you don't have a system, right here, baby, a notebook, a lined notebook. Because right now, all you have to do is put down people's names that you think would be great coaches or great challengers and begin working off of that, right? So I don't want number 2 right here to be like, oh my gosh, you're right, Brittany. I have to prep. I've got to till my soil, so I'm never going to make it to number 3. Don't let number 2 be a stopping ground. I've watched it so much for coaches where we prepare for our group. We prepare to track. We prepare to invite. And then we never do the stinking thing. And then you wonder why no one joined your group because you spent all your time prepping, right? If I am prepping for a party, oh my gosh, it'd be like this diamond retreat, you guys. I'm prepping. We're getting pajamas. I already know there's going to be pizza and champagne. Like Waco for sure. We're going to Magnolia. And last weekend, Charlie and I were down there in Waco, and I was scoping out places. Like, I was prepping, right? But then, like, what if I was like, I never announced a retreat and I never invited anybody to come, but I just prepped the whole time. That's so sad, right? Like, what a sad thing to keep inside your head. You want to get it out and celebrate it, right? So systems for tracking are important for prep work. Systems for inviting or giving more info. Like for me, when I invite somebody, I always ask for their email. And then from there, I send them an email that lets them know a little bit about the group. And then in return, I want to know their goals, right? And so that's my system. Systems when I onboard a new coach or a new client. So my person said yes, and then I got them a share cart. They're ready to go. What do I do now that they're actually my coach or actually my client? What are my systems? How do I welcome them to the team page? How do I welcome them into the challenge group? What resources do I give them to get them started, right? How do I check back in with them? So I want to make sure that I have a generic understanding that I do need to do that, right? I don't need to stop everything I'm doing to create the system, but I do need to make sure that that is there and in place so that, and I can improve upon it, right? I can always improve upon it, but it needs to be there so that when the time comes to onboard somebody new, I have a system for it. And this is the big one, marketing calendar. Like, I'm pulling out all my pencil and paper today, you guys. Like, do you have a calendar that you work from where you know what you're inviting to and when? Right? Do you know what the next thing you're going to market for your challenge groups or for coaching, right? Okay. So prep work's done. We're ready. We plant the seeds. And do you see now that we're at number 3, why I harp so much that we don't stop at 2? It can be so easy to till the soil and get it ready and then literally never do anything with it. And it's so heartbreaking. So you've got to promise me, you've got to promise yourself, you've got to promise other people, that person that doesn't even know how much they need this community, you got to promise them that you're going to not stop at 2 and you're going to make it to planting the seeds. So planting the seeds, this is the most important step in network marketing. Like literally the most important step. I have zero control over what anyone else can do. Right? And for a control freak, it's kind of a hard pill to swallow. But the reality is in network marketing, you can control your behaviors and your actions. So the only thing I can control, you guys, I can't control if Sally Sue is going to say yes to my challenge group. I cannot control that. But I can control if I invite Sally Sue, if I follow up with Sally Sue, regardless of how many times I follow up. By the way, you're not annoying when you follow up. It's out of love, right? And also the conversations and the type of interaction and connection I'm making with Sally Sue. I can control that. I can't control what she's going to do in return, right? And so we've got to let go of the need to control the aftermath, to control the outcome, but we have to be able to control this, which is the most important step: inviting, following up, having crucial, connected, authentic, genuine conversations with people that we gel with, planting the seeds. And you guys, this step must be done consistently. And when I say consistently, I mean daily. I don't mean on Monday because I'm fired up because Brittany, spoke life into me on our team training. So I get off the training and I send some invites and then I forget about it till next Monday when I'm fired up again. No. Especially if you are in the beginning stages of your business. And when I mean beginning stages, I mean you're not to diamond yet. And maybe you're not, really your business truthfully opens at 2-star, you guys. So like diamond isn't even the benchmark. Diamond used to be the benchmark. It's 2-star now. Like that's where you want to go if you want a business. So if you're not at 2-star yet, you got to be doing this daily. And I'm not saying mass. I'm not saying 50,000 invites every single day. No, but consistently. Because the only thing that can happen, truthfully, when you start consistently inviting every single day is you just get really good at what you want to say to people. You get really good at sending invites. You get really good at answering hesitations. If somebody says, well, how much does it cost? You get really good at how to respond to that. If you do this consistently, you begin to get really, really good at handling any sort of objection, right? Of not having enough time or not having enough money or, I live in a tiny apartment and so I don't think I have enough space, or I don't want that shake, right? I don't believe in shakes. You get really good at talking about Shakeology when you talk about Shakeology. You know what I mean? So if you want to get good at it, there's so many times where people are like, well, I'm not really good at inviting. Do it more. Do it more. Or I always stop when somebody says, what do you do? Like, what is this coaching thing you do? Tell me about it. And I'm like, oh, I don't even know how to answer that. Well, you should talk about it more so you know how to answer it. The reason I can answer things so quickly now is because I talk about it every freaking day, right? Okay, next. So our seeds are planted. I love that picture, by the way, because look at how meticulous. That goes back to our niche. That goes back to the proper soil and the proper setting. And I'm not just like blowing seeds out and hoping, like just shaking them out of a bag wherever and hoping I have a beautiful garden. I'm going to have a freaking mess on my hands, right? Look at how meticulous they're planting those seeds, and this person and this person and this person. And so making sure that it's a consistent behavior, but also making sure that you are laser focused on who you're trying to plant seeds with. Okay. Now, once a seed is planted, y'all, it goes under the dirt. I'm going to take it back to like kindergarten 101 with you. I plant the seed. I got to cover it up and I don't see it. Right here, you guys, this is a level of trust that we are not, as human beings in the society we live in right now, we are not taught to trust that space of waiting. We're not. We don't like that. When something's covered up and we can't see if it's going to grow or if it's dying or is it even growing roots, I don't know what's happening. That's where this whole idea of trust comes in. That at this time, I just have to give my seed what it needs to grow and hope that it's all going to work out the way it's supposed to. There is a beautiful level of faith, faith being hope in the unseen, right? That correlates with this business. Seeds need sunlight and water, but your relationships, they need value. They need not to just have you throw a sweaty selfie up every day, but maybe you share your 3 best tips for getting in an early morning workout because the person watching you just desperately doesn't know how to fit it into their schedule, right? Your relationship needs trust. They need to know that you're not only inviting them and only throwing out calls to actions and only all you care about is Beachbody, but they see that you are this human being that happens to also love doing Beachbody workouts, right? Building trust and consistency. The show up ability, right? I said that was my superpower. That's my superpower. No one can take that away from me. I show the F up. That's it. And here I am, right? Like, I have nothing special. There's nothing special about my journey. I don't have something in me that you don't have in you. I just don't freaking quit. I am the tortoise, slow and steady, and I will win that race, right? But your relationships that you are like nurturing, they need to be nurtured through value, trust, consistency in how you're connecting with them. Connections can be made in personal messages. Connections can be made in your Instagram stories. Are they hearing your voice and seeing your face? Are you talking on a video, or is it always a picture of something? Do they know what you sound like? I love sending voice memos to people because I know that if they're already watching my story, they know how I sound. So it must be, and I think of it this way. I think of it like, I know how Rachel Hollis sounds, right? I've watched her Instagram stories. I know she was at Summit speaking on stage. Like, I know what she sounds like, right? I listen to her podcast. If Rachel Hollis sent me a voice memo in my inbox, man, I would already feel connected to her. I'd be like, that's my girl, Rach. I already know what she sounds like. And now I feel so honored that she took time to just speak into a voice memo straight to me and not just to the masses, right? Does your following know what you sound like? They've got to know what you sound like, you guys. Because imagine one day your following is sitting on a Zoom call like this, and this is the first time they hear your voice? No, right? Hearing my voice, knowing what I sound like, that builds trust between us. That's a connection. Another connection is just how you post on social media. Are you connecting with your audience, or are you talking at them? Is it about you, or is it about impacting them? So how do you provide that on a daily basis? Ask yourself, how are you providing value, trust, consistency every day to nurture the relationship of the seed that is underground? Again, I can't control whether that seed is going to sprout or be a dud. I can't control that, but I can control how I show up and what I provide for that seed. Y'all, we've gone through 4 steps and we still don't have a plant. But here at number 5, we finally have like one little bud. If you've ever planted anything before, I'll never forget in elementary school, we'd always plant something for some reason, whether it was Earth Day or Mother's Day or I don't know, science. There was always a lesson. We always had something we could plant. And I'll never forget, like, when the students would finally see that one little green sticking out of the seed, right? Sticking out of the soil. Man, how exciting was that, right? And it was just a little nothing. It wasn't a big old palm tree yet or whatever. It was just a little bitty plant. And for us, these little bitty plants, these are our new customers. These are our new coaches on our team. These are our mini goals that we've achieved on our way to our big goal. So if one of your big goals right now is, is getting to that diamond retreat, then that new coach is a plant. It's one little mini goal on your way to your big goal, right? And so celebrate this. Care for this one, but don't stop here. We can't, I want you to imagine if all of a sudden I had one little bud come up, right? And I planted 50 seeds and I was nurturing all 50 of them. But the second that one bud came up, I stopped focusing on anything else and I only focused on that one. And I tried to raise that one so freaking tall. First of all, I probably suffocated before it was even grown. But imagine your entire crop you're ignoring now. I see this happen a lot where we get a new customer and it's like, yes, we've got our one, but we're not going for one. We're going for a crop. One plant doesn't feed the village, right? And so we can't just stop here with the one. I say it all the time. This is not a farming analogy. This is more of a running analogy. But I can only drag one, but I can run with thousands, right? And so that one is coming up. I'm speaking life into it. I'm excited about it. I'm going to work hard to make sure that plant grows up to be all it's meant to be. But I got to also keep out for all these other things that I've planted as well. Okay. And this is where the harvest comes in, you guys. So the next step in Farming 101 is the harvest. And this is where the work begins. I love Beachbody. I say it all the time. One of the reasons why I sell Beachbody stuff as opposed to leggings or lip gloss, no offense to anyone that does that. If you are passionate about lip gloss, please do it, right? Not not you guys, but I mean, if somebody else happens to catch this recording, like go for it, right? That's not my jam, because I believe that when you sell lip gloss, your work is finished after that person buys whatever color gloss they want. But for me and for Beachbody, once that plant comes out, once they say, yes, I'm in, I'm ready, like I love what you're doing, I want to be a part of this, I'm ready to work on my goals, and we have that one plant, this is where the work begins. Okay? This is where we teach people. This is where we love people. This is where we coach people, mentor people, support people, right? But imagine as one plant comes up, I told you a second ago, don't stop here. You might have another plant come up, and then another plant come up, and another plant come up. And when we harvest, when we collect all of this, this is where we begin to work. This is where we run our challenge groups, right? We don't just have that challenger buy a challenge pack in step 5. They say yes, they get their challenge pack, and then, okay, I'm on to find somebody else. No, this is where I need all my other plants to come up. And now, let's harvest. Let's get in a challenge group and let's make this happen, right? I think it's important to note too that in harvest season, when plants are being harvested, and I speak about wine because I know this a little bit more than maybe I know other crops, but when wine is harvested, I'm going to pick all of the fruit from the plants, right? But I'm not going to keep it all. And you have to know that in the harvest, sometimes there will be bad fruit. There will be bugs. There will be termites, parasites. There will be things that will affect the well-being of your crop, of your juice that you're trying to make, of your bottle of wine. I don't want that bad grape in my bottle of wine because I want the best bottle of wine, right? And so you have to understand that there is a fine balance of like allowing people to embark on their own journey. It's the whole tagging and dragging idea, right? We don't want to just drag people along. Sometimes lately I've been tagging you guys on social media and my stories and this and that. And sometimes I get nervous because I'm like, oh man, I don't want somebody to feel bad that I'm not tagging them. And honestly, the reason why I pick the people I tag most often, and there's probably plenty of people on our team that I haven't tagged, but the reason I probably don't tag them is they just aren't showing up, right? I want to tag the people who are running with me. I want to tag the people who are like doing this with me. I want to tag the people who are on the 50th workout with me. Like, not the people who are sitting on the wall and have ghosted me for a month, right? And our team and don't get on calls or this or that. Now, I love everyone on our team. And I'm not saying that I toss them out, but I have to protect our team. And so when it comes time to harvest, when it comes time to mentor people, the people who get the biggest amount of mentorship and support and like amount of energy coming from me are also reciprocating something back. There is a dance to that. And I think that's important in your groups too. I talk to coaches all the time who are like, oh my gosh, like I think she'd be such a great coach, but she never shows up in the challenge group. She stopped drinking her Shakeology and she canceled it like 6 months ago and she never posts anything. But I really think she'd be a great coach. And I'm like, I don't. Sorry. Like, that doesn't sound like a great coach to me at all. I want somebody who's there. I want somebody who shows up. I want somebody who's involved in the group and like in it, in the trenches with us. And I want somebody who loves the products the way I love the products, whose life is being transformed and changed because of these products. That's who I want running with me. And so when you harvest, you have to understand that you also have to give people their time. Their time. We have to also pause, you guys, in this business. This business goes and it goes and it goes and it goes. And we've talked about this very recently, that when you get to the top of a mountain, all you're going to realize when you get to the top of that mountain is there's another mountain to climb. There is no stop. And I don't mean this in like a busy sort of way, because I am anti-busy. I love rest. I love rest. I love the pause. I believe in it sincerely. I believe that is an absolute human right. It's not a gift. It's not a privilege. It's not a, if I achieve this, then I can take a nap. No, like it's your right to rest and to have peace and stillness, right? And to pause. But it's important that you know that when you get to the mountain, at the top of that mountain, you're probably going to see something else you want to go climb. So get there, enjoy the view, soak it in, be proud of yourself, give yourself that pat on the back, whatever your reward for yourself was. Like if it was like, I am going to buy myself a pair of leggings when I hit this rank, right? Buy the pair of leggings, celebrate it, show them off, tell people why you bought those leggings. But then acknowledge the season of work you've been through in order to achieve that goal, but get back to work. The last part is that a farmer repeats this process over and over and over again. And you guys, you have to understand there's a very fine dance to this. Because when I might be planting seeds for this challenge group over here, I might be reaping the harvest, enjoying the fruits of my labor from that crop over there. So you have to think of your business in like multiple crops. I'm finding the good soil. I'm tilling it here, but while I'm tilling this soil over here, this one I'm planting seeds. And while I'm planting seeds and tilling the soil here, I'm over here harvesting. And then once I'm done harvesting, I'm going to enjoy the fruits of my labor. And then I'm going to get back over to this crop and I'm going to till the soil again over here and I'm going to plant the seeds. And it's this fine dance that it's going on, not linear at all. It's not just a linear or a cyclical, thank you, babe, cyclical behavior, but rather it's almost like knock-a-mole. You know what I mean? It's almost a little bit like knock-a-mole, where you get to this goal over here, but at the same time you're also planting seeds for what's going to come up next. I think when we stall out in this business, we only have one little plot of land. I put all my seeds in this plot. It's like you got those 5 friends on Facebook that you're just praying will buy the stupid challenge pack. It's like the same 5 people watching your story. And you're like, one of these days, I'm just planting this. I planted those 5 seeds and they're under the ground and I'm just loving on those 5 seeds. I got bad news for you, girlfriend. Those 5 seeds might have dried out like years ago. You might need to go plant some new seeds over in this soil, right? And it's okay. It's okay. But it's important that we know that this process just keeps going and it's fun. It's fun. It's fun to find, like I said last week, my soil was different than what my soil is this week when I wrote down who I'm, my target market, right? And so it's fun because I'm continually like expanding of who I want to talk to and the type of women I want to bring into our tribe. You also have to understand that some seasons yield something amazing. There have been seasons of my business where I have yielded the most incredible crop ever. And I never even, I put those seeds deep down in the soil, had no idea what would become of them, and man, have blown me away. Some seasons are just normal. They're just normal. It's like, I tilled it, planted it, a couple of things popped up, harvest, we're good, moving on, right? And some seasons aren't amazing and they aren't normal. There's just an opportunity to grow. I want you to understand that. Lindsay today posted something on Instagram, and I don't know if she told me if I could share it or not, but I'm going to share it anyway because I don't know if she responded. But she shared her tiny harvest from her little garden that she planted this summer. And she said, someone told me that in a first-year garden, you should only expect to harvest knowledge. Anything beyond that will be abundance. And I think it's a great metaphor for life. So many times we start something new, be it a workout routine, a new healthy habit, a diet, and expect to see immediate or transformative results. But in reality, the knowledge and wisdom gained from any new endeavor is the true reward. So guys, there's not going to be seasons. There's not going to be seasons where it's amazing or terrible. No, we either have amazing seasons or seasons where we had an opportunity to grow and learn and become better the next time we try, right? And that's what I want to get into with this team. That's the mindset I want you to shift yourself into. Last thing I'm going to leave you with is that farmers work really hard. Again, I know nothing about farming. Never, I didn't grow up on a farm. I don't have farming in my family. But I know that if there's one job that I probably wouldn't want to do, it's farming. Because it is literally an ongoing process and it's just really hard work. But this business is just like that. This business requires of you really, really hard work. But just like the really hard work that goes into farming, when you put in that really hard work and you put in that little sprinkle of faith, that belief and hope in the unknown and the unseen, You have to know that coming out of that harvest, there's going to be something really, really special waiting for you, regardless if it is abundance, regardless if it is a new rank, or maybe it is financial abundance, or maybe it's just you growing in knowledge. But regardless, there is a prize when you continue to take yourself through that process. And that, my friends, is all I got for you tonight.